Whenever there is a list of greatest fictional villains of all time, there are two inevitables. One, some idiot is going to try to put Loki on the list, even though Loki has never really been a true cinematic villain. And two, the Joker will almost always be in the top 5 of any list. The Joker Part 2 came out this weekend, and I have no desire to see it. But before I get into my reasons, let's hear what some other people have to say about it.
In the end, it's like this. If you had concerns about Joker Folie à Deux at all, they're in here. Fear that you have itching in your brain, it's very justified. Because, well, this is a Todd Phillips sequel. Guess I'm just trying to say Joker Folie à Deux is to Joker as The Hangover 2 is to The Hangover. It may have been Joker paint, but it was about as exciting as watching paint dry.
And if all 2.5 hours of Joker Folie à Deux proves anything at all, it's that sometimes you really ought to listen to your instincts. Yeah, there's definitely good elements in there. You can see that talented people were working on this movie, and the ending is definitely going to get people talking. But overall, Joker 2 felt like a dull, bloated, and ultimately unnecessary movie that failed to answer the question that's dogged it since the beginning. Why does this film even exist?
So last night I got to see an early screening for the second Joker movie, and if you watched Natural Born Killers and thought, hey, this should be a musical, you will love this movie. If you saw La La Land and felt it could use more violence, you will love this movie. If you watched Tommy Wiseau's The Room and thought it was a beautiful piece of cinematic art, you will love this movie. If you watched Donnie Darko and thought it needed to be just a little more pretentious, you'll love this movie. If you watched Law & Order and thought it would be a better show if it was more melodramatic and also performed by a high school drama department with all the energy of a Korean baseball team's cheerleading squad, you will love this movie. If you hate the Harley Quinn animated series because Harley is funny, well-rounded, and fleshed out, you will love this movie. But most of all, if you're 16 and think you're simultaneously really deep and edgy, you'll love this movie.
I should probably mention that I am a fan of the comic book version of the Joker. And almost every cinematic version of the Joker tried to stay true to that version. Even the Jared Leto version from Suicide Squad that most people hated was at least in line with the spirit of the Joker. And what is that spirit? A psychopath who is cruel, chaotic, and vicious. Not a bullied loner with mommy issues who descends into misery and despair in an attempt to gain sympathy from the audience. The comic book Joker would never care about sympathy. He is a manipulative demon who will torture your family for fun. He is cruel because he loved it, not because he is bitter. So in the 2019 Joker movie, there was a fresh new take on the Joker, arguably for the first time, one that wasn't based on the comics. He was down on his luck, at the end of his wits, one act of cruelty away from losing it. Somebody whom the people could both relate to and sympathize with. But therein lies the issue. Turning villains into victims because the world was too cruel to them and, at least to a degree, justifying their actions. This has been especially true with villains who come from stories that are being revisited. These villains often get a fresh new take on their misunderstood characters. Look, for example, at Sauron from Rings of Power.
He isn't 100% evil. So when he meets the old man on the road and looks back at the dark clouds over the trees, and he makes the choice to go with the people onto the ship, he still doesn't know what he's going to be up to. He does. He's Sauron. He's evil. He hasn't made a choice of becoming what he's going to become. And I think the choice happens when the sea monster attacks the ship and it starts sinking and the old man is asking him to help him and he doesn't. That's what we're dealing with. Oh, Sauron wants to help everybody, but he wants to do that with the ultimate power in the ring. He's getting into everybody's head and manipulating everybody.
Or Maleficent from Disney's Maleficent.
But the 2014 spin-off movie Maleficent reveals a different side to this story. In this version, we learn that Maleficent wasn't always the villain she's made out to be. In fact, she once had a kind heart, full of love and compassion. Maleficent's story begins with betrayal. She was deeply hurt by King Stefan, who, in his quest for power, stole her wings, a symbol of her freedom and spirit. This act of betrayal turned Maleficent's heart cold, leading her to curse Aurora as a way to get back at Stefan. But even after casting the curse, Maleficent couldn't help but care for Aurora.
But when the villain's actions become justified, you not only undermine previous actions of that villain, but you also undermine the previous actions of the hero and partially turn the hero into the villain. The old switcheroo. This form of tragic heroism has always been a part of storytelling, even in classic literature. Satan from Paradise Lost was a complex character who was torn with internal conflict and even gained admiration. Or there's the misunderstood Victor Frankenstein, who was just trying to create new life. But the difference with modern stories, and especially with this iteration of the Joker, is the moral ambiguity. The framing of his character in a way that could justify his cruelty, clouding the morality of their actions. Now, I'm not saying that villains don't deserve depth or sympathy. J.K. Rowling via Harry Potter did a wonderful job of teaching us to feel sympathy for the villain without justifying their actions.
You're the weak one, and you'll never know love or friendship. And I feel sorry for you.
But to attempt to turn the Joker into a protagonist, someone with whose actions we agree, that to me is turning the Joker both into something he is not and into something he shouldn't be. The Joker is an evil individual who would not hesitate to act on impulse for no logical reason. Take Jack Nicholson in the 1989 Batman. Bob was the Joker's #1 man, and in a fit of angry rage, the Joker killed him for no reason.
Bob? Done.
Or Heath Ledger burning his pile of cash because he does things to cause chaos.
What do you do with all your money?
You see, I'm a guy of simple taste. I enjoy dynamite, and gunpowder, and gasoline. What's it? And you know the thing that they have in common? They're cheap.
Said you were a man of few words.
Oh, I am. I'm only burning my half. All you care about is money. This town deserves a better class of criminal. And I'm gonna give it to him.
The Joker is a chaotic, evil individual. To me, this new iteration of the Joker is nothing more than a broken individual who is cosplaying. He is not the same. And now, in the sequel, he sings and tap dances. Can you imagine any of the other Jokers tap dancing? It's beyond cringe. It is ridiculous. And this is why I don't want anything to do with this Joker, and I have no desire to see any version of him. But if you are excited to see Joaquin Phoenix play the Joker, I hope that you enjoy it. That's the beauty of the theater. Everyone can have their own experience, even if, in my case, I have chosen not to participate in this experience. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you next time.